What's up, Metal Summoners? It is so great to see you guys as always. We appreciate you guys showing so much love and support to the show, because by supporting the show, tuning in, and rocking out with us, you're allowing myself and Angel to continue what we're doing, which allows us to have these great conversations for you guys to get to be so interactive with. So again, right back on your island of misfit toys, myself and Angel, we're super stoked. And again, we really appreciate all of your awesome Metal Summoner courtesies for rocking out with us. But we're going to have a little bit of fun on this one as well. We brought back an alumnus. We brought back a great friend of the show, a great personal friend as well. We've got Bullets and Octane back with us. Gene Lewis, what's up, brother? It is so great to see you. Congratulations on the start of 2026, man, and welcome back to the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It feels like we crossed a finish line when you slide into 2026. It's like, we made it by the skin of our teeth. We made it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, you had a lot going on in 2025, because one thing for yourself, for sure, that anybody who follows any of the B&O, socials and everything like that, I mean, you're very like social media friendly. I mean, you were doing like drum cam footage, always letting people know what's going on with Bullets and Octane, as well as your other projects. But also, that being said, Gene, I mean, congratulations are in order too for the new music that Bullets and Octane put out, starting off in October, and then kind of a re-release of the EP with a new track.
Yeah. It's been quite amazing, man. I feel pretty lucky that timing and just being aligned with getting my life together in the last 5 years, to where I'm able to do things where at this age I can be a drummer in a rock band and tour, and then also be a crazy front guy singer in a band and tour, and then have my acoustic stuff, and then have a normal life. Like, you really take for granted. I mean, I think the old saying is the youth is wasted on the young, and there ain't no joke about that, because I can't imagine, like, if I was carrying on the way I used to, like, your body can't do it like that, So yeah, I mean, I think I already told you guys something funny, but just for our viewers, as crazy as my life and schedule is, I got a phone call about literally 30 minutes ago saying, "Hey man, we need an opening act at the Coach House tonight for this Dueling Pianos Wednesday." And I'm like, "Well, I got a podcast I'm doing, man, with my boys. Let me see what I can do." So I got out of my pajamas and put on, normal people clothes, came down here, did a sound check, ran to the dressing room, turned it on. There you were. And here we go. And I don't know, man. I think there's people like all of us that kind of thrive in chaos slightly, and there's something kind of beautiful about that. And thank you for the thing about the Bullets' new album. Basically, as it sits right now, a new song. Previously we did a song on the album as it stands now with Steve Stevens from Billy Idol, which was a rockin' track, and a music video with him. And so there's a good handful of the songs that make an EP right now. But as we get closer to spring, we're going to be heading back out for a big festival tour in the UK. And it's actually going to end up being a full-length Bullets and Octane album. And it's kind of also to celebrate that by April 11th, it'll be the 20th anniversary of our RCA album that came out, called In the Mouth of the Young, which is a fan favorite. If you're into Bullets, like, that's your album, so it seems. So I can't believe it's been 20 years. I'm so tired. My back hurts. And, I'm just trying to keep up, man. You look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, there's a few more lines and a few more gray hairs. I still haven't fulfilled half the shit I want to do with my life. I figured by now I'd be a pilot. I'd probably speak Japanese slightly. I don't know,
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, Gene, In the Mouth of the Young, that was the record I found in the wild, brother.
Yeah, man. That one. Woo.
So it's definitely been crazy when it comes to that, man, for sure.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the EP, so with your plans to do the full length record in the spring, the EP that's out right now that you just put out, are those are the songs that are also planning to like be included, like losing my mind, and then like the newest track, like The Break?
Yeah, so I mean, it's so hard to keep up with what the trends are of of releasing singles or songs. You got if you follow a lot of these people who are supposed to tell you what the new latest thing is with releases and the music business. I swear every 5 weeks there's like a new thing. So it's the waterfall release where you release a song every 5 weeks and you got to do this thing where you jump in the air with a handful of balloons and you do these fucking dances and shit. So basically what's going to happen is by the time spring comes around, there'll be a consistent amount of releases to where it'll be like 10, 11 song full length album. So what you've heard so far that looks like an EP is going to be part of the full length. Yes.
Very cool, Gene. Absolutely. And Angel, I'm going to kick it up to you, man, after this one last question in my segment here. But with the current lineup of Bullets and Octane, one of the things I thought was super duper cool that I saw was that you've got Clay playing with you on guitar in there. And I've known Clay like for years. I mean, he and I have always kind of been internet buddies. But I met him years ago in Future Villains Land.
Yeah.
And when I saw that he was playing with you, I thought that was so awesome. And I wanted to ask you about just how you guys got connected, because Clay's always been such a stand-up guy to me.
Absolutely, dude. What a sweetheart. Such a Canadian, you know? I love it. No, I mean, it's honestly, first off, I'll just say like what a blessing it has been to connect with him. And you know, him and I worked together for this new album, and you know, such a professional producer and songwriting partner. Like really, you know, I'm not just saying this because he's probably watching, hopefully, but that he, you know, he really jumped up my awareness of where I was at and what, you know, I'd like to say in all honesty, it's like I think I got pretty comfortable in my own way of doing things. And, you know, he definitely lit a fire under my ass and was pushing me here, pushing me there. And, you know, and I look at it now and I'm like, wow, this is a really killer album. And I'm so thankful for it because once again, like it being 20 years of In the Mouth of the Young, it would really suck to put out a half-ass album right now and then go, and it's 20-year anniversary of this album you love, and then they listen to the one that just came out and go, I don't know, you know, you really kind of should have hung it up years ago. So yeah, Clay's amazing. Basically, I mean, we were like social media friends for a long time. We probably ran into each other when we were all crazy and cuckoo back in the day, but through a mutual friend, I heard that he was interested in doing stuff with Bullets or working with me and stuff. And it sounds like such a Hollywood behind the music cliche story. But I remember I went to the Whiskey for some sort of thing, and he was out front with his signature mohawk, you know. And I just went straight up to him and said, hey, man, I heard you were interested in working together and possibly doing the Bullets thing. You want to do this thing? And he was like, cool, let's do it. So it was really just that easy. And then ever since then, we just hit the ground running, going back and forth, getting to know each other. And that's a lot to do, man. You know, when you've got two guys, myself and him, who've had a huge history of doing our own stuff separately and our own ideas of what a rock band is supposed to be. And, you know, different ideas of what Bullets and Octane truly is, right? And so for us to quickly have to get, you know, burn the chemistry together in such a quick way when two guys are so passionate about it, there's a lot to figure out quickly, you know. But it's turning out great, man. You know, it's a lot of work, but we're really excited and proud for the album. We're proud for all the stuff we're putting together. Like I said, going back to the UK in spring with the new album and just kind of doing a relaunching, rebranding of the band 2026.
Absolutely, brother. East Coast, Gene. East Coast, if we can get you here, brother.
I know. We got to do it, man.
We got to do it, man. We got to hook up. We got to have some fun. Let me and Angel put together a slamming like intro for your band.
That would be cool. Let's figure it out.
100%.
Yeah,
Angel, my man, it's all you.
Damn, that was gonna be my next question. Are there any plans to tour in the States, and what are the touring plans for the rest of 2026?
Sure. Yeah, like I said, makes sense after what I just said too, like the relaunching, rebranding. It's kind of also, you know, cleaning house and getting new, fresh people to be working with and things like that. We just landed a new booking agent in the UK, and that's where there's smoke, there's fire. And in the UK, we seem to do quite well. That's where In the Mouth of the Young and all those days, like it really took off doing the, what was that big fest? Download Festival and things like that. So it worked out really well over there to start building. As far as the States go, you know, it's hard to say. We got this really amazing this friend of ours named Akash. He's putting together with his buddy Matt this music video we're doing for Losing My Mind. And we're just going to kind of see how it develops and how it builds up. Because as you guys know, it's just to be honest and transparent here, touring the States, it's very expensive. Like, there's no close drive. There's no 3 hour drives. It's like, New Jersey to, Salt Lake. And you're like, there's like $700 in gas right there. So, you know, opportunities pop up, but we're just trying to make smart, calculated decisions to where we could easily go out there and just burn it all right away. And then where do we go, going into 2027? So it's just one step at a time, making some music videos, putting out some releases, getting some push, getting some things on some satellite radios, and just feeling out where we should put our attention. I think, back in the day, it made sense just to start the van, everyone hop in, and we're just going to throw on backpacks, and we're 23 years old, and we're just going to, knock them dead. So it's really just focusing on the festivals and that UK tour right now, but we do want to do something in the States. There's certain bands and things in the works that I got to keep my lips shut. No one tells me anything because they know that I will spill the beans on a lot of cool stuff. For example, if there's Christmas time, I have to buy Christmas gifts on December 24th. Otherwise, you're going to get them when I buy them because I can't keep a secret.
Hey, I'm the same way as well. It's like sometimes it's like, fuck, I gotta keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it's not. Now with the whole thing with social media.
Oh yeah.
How has being a musician changed? Just curious to know. From 20 years ago to now, and how do you use TikTok to promote your music?
Good question. Answer that is not very well. I still don't know the tricks and the algorithms and all these weird things. I hear hashtags are about to be a thing of the past. So something like that, man. It's hard to keep up. Like I said, I have a lot of friends and stuff that are pretty good at it. You have to stay on it constantly, like a full-time job. So it seems like all day on top of it. How's it changed? I'm glad that we didn't have a lot of cell phone cameras back in the day because I probably wouldn't be able to do this anymore. But at the same time, it's like, being sober and doing things now. It's a lot easier, man. And, everything feels a little bit more tame, maybe because everyone's kind of gotten slightly older and things like that. But it's just really nice to have reliable bands, like playing drums with the guys in Letter Kills. Everyone's got, full-time careers and families and stuff like that. So, everyone gets up early. We have breakfast together, like it's a real easygoing machine. We're not, in Bullets or Letter Kills. No one's like trying to find, where's the bass player? He ran off with the bartender and, burning down a shed down the street or something. There's none of that. So it goes pretty smooth. It's nice to be present. It's nice to be alert and to actually have nice, meaningful conversations with people that have been longtime fans of Bullets or Letter Kills or just of music in general, and be able to keep those conversations going through social media. One of my favorite things, to answer your question a little bit more, is being able to connect with childhood bands that I looked up to. A good example is a band out of Texas called Hagfish, and I think they were on like Lava back in the 90s, but I became buddies with them. And to me, I'm such a little, teenage nerd about certain bands that made an impact on me. And if it wasn't for TikTok and Instagram and social media, then I never would have had that platform to reach out and just, start a conversation and see if, and build a friendship over the years and stuff like that. Still with me?
Oh,
I think he just had his mic muted while you were talking.
Oh, okay.
no, because I had like the heater on.
Oh, gotcha.
So when it comes to, wow, how do you decide? I mean, because now it's like you got to throw it up in the air. Do you want to put out a full-length album? Do you want to put out an EP or just singles? So man, how do you come to that decision? I know it's
Well, I mean, the way the platforms are now and the applications of uploading music, you can kind of facilitate both of those necessities. So it's like we were just talking about a minute ago. It's like you could put out singles every 5 weeks or whatever you need to do, and have that be a part of an album. So it'll keep adding another song to that album. That's what's kind of neat. I sometimes forget that we don't have tangible products necessarily anymore. So you could easily, at this point, I'm assuming that you could keep adding stuff to what you would call an album release if you like, or take away if you're not actually taking, it's not a physical product, so you could just keep on rolling with it, which is kind of cool. Yeah, decision made.
Uh, so okay, so we got the 20-year anniversary and the new album.
Yeah.
I think so. Do you plan to do, let's say, two different tours to commemorate, let's say, the 20-year anniversary and promoting the new album? How's that working out for 2026?
I don't know. We thought about doing, something really simple just to do it, like having like maybe a fun little show at the Viper Room, and to celebrate it, type of thing. I don't know. I wish there was more time, and I really came down to funding, because it would have been kind of neat to, you know, re-record the album or do something interesting, do like an acoustic version of that album. But between Letter Kills and Bullets and Octane and scheduling, it just didn't seem to become the priority. It's already hard enough to find the budget to push the album that you're trying to push, the brand new album. So that would be like a whole separate campaign, which means a whole separate set of funding. And nobody likes it whenever I call the label and say, "Hey guys, I've got this idea." That always means, "Hey guys, let's open up that bank just a little further." You know, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, you're making money when you're touring and selling merchandise and stuff like that. You're basically a t-shirt salesman. I'm sure you guys have heard that be called that before, but at the end of the day, that's the only thing you really can't download, which people could download the image and print it on their own shirts if they want. But, at this point, it's really, it's kind of difficult to hang on to this idea. Have you noticed that too? That there's hard to find like the in between size successful bands. It's like either you make it and you're Avenged Sevenfold and you're all these big bands, or you're the bands at the bottom and everybody's like rats in a bucket, just crawling at each other, trying to climb over each other. I wish that I've been saying it for a while. I do see it more often, but if people could take a page out of the old school hip hop book to where people would work together more. Like I reach out to a lot of different artists just to like feel out the temperature if they would want to work together on things. And there's no reason anymore to be competitive like that. We should like band together, like find other bands that have similar amounts of plays on Spotify or their social media is similar, and start kind of collaborating on things and reaching out. I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
The one thing I hope people would do is just an idea, because Nikki Sixx is really active on Twitter. Bombard his ass with the hashtag of the band. Like, get the fans says, "Hey, bombard Nikki Sixx with the hashtag the tour," because he was complaining, "Oh, classic rock bands want to tour with us." Well, fuck, you could take out 3 or 4 new bands and not lose any money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
your Motley Crue, people are still going to come out. People are still going to pay a fortune to come see.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. That whole thing's strange too. I know a lot of these younger bands and other bands, buy onto tours and pay a hell of a lot of money to open up for these big bands as they play right at 6:30 when the doors open in front of the, it's like, oh man, it's so difficult. I don't know. It's hard to, and I like I said, man, I try to just be as honest and transparent, and I'm not trying to play a character or act like I know this or don't know that. But it is strange as the world's changing, the music business is changing, and then also just getting older as a human, like where I fit in, and after a while you spin yourself out with all that thinking, and you just have to return to do the best you can, make the music you're excited about. And I'm not 23 anymore. I'm just not. So it's like I'll run around, I'll spit on you and stuff like that still. But some of this stuff, it's like, bro, you just gotta get on what you can get on, and that's just how it is. They got a book in here right now. I'm in the dressing room of the coach house, and they left this in here. It looks like there's cocaine on it. Like I just brushed it. It's a Hunter S. Thompson book, Better Than Sex. They left that for me to read, apparently.
Nice.
So random.
They're trying to inspire you.
I guess so. Hey, we're going to be here, by the way, right here at the coach house with Gilby Clark and Jackal on March 28th. Bullets and Octane is. That's going to be fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll.
No, for sure, man. Definitely. When you have an anniversary like you've got with Mouth, new music that you've got coming out, well, currently, as well as also coming out, while we know that your current tour schedule revolves around the UK tour, you have quite the catalog all the same. And how have you found your new music intertwines with your back catalog? And do you ever find that there's certain challenges in playing the songs that you know are hits, but or fan favorites that might not necessarily sound stylistically like what you're doing currently? Have you ever come across something like that? And even if you have or haven't, how do you intertwine the old with the new?
Great question, man. And I'll say this. I think it's kind of tough too. I mean, it's one thing if you're a band or an artist and it just worked out where a certain single caught fire that might have been different than your other ones, but now you know just to lean in that direction. If where there's if it works, that's who you are now. Like let's just do that. But the strange thing with like the whole Bullets and Octane back catalog, this, that, and the other, is that two of the most like on Spotify of the famous songs are Pirates and a song called I Ain't Your Savior. And if you listen to those two songs, they couldn't be any more different.
They're so far
they're
apart.
so different. And it's been kind of weird for me because like I said, man, depending on the location on planet Earth where they have discovered Bullets and Octane and whatever chapter they discovered it, they have an idea of who Bullets is. So if I put out something different, they'll be like, oh, you need to get back to your original sound. And I'm like, well, which one to you is my original sound? Is it the metal Motorhead Ain't Your Savior, or is it the poppy kind of punk rocky Pirates fun bouncy type of thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, man, I've had a lot of managers and people in the business and over the years be like, it's great that you could do a lot of different types of things, but I think it's like kind of your curse at the same time, because you're not just like even my look and different things. But if you see like a band like 69 Eyes, like you're getting 69 Eyes, a lot of black, a lot of long hair, it's rock, it's metal, you know exactly what you're getting. And there's something to be said about that. I oftentimes will be in the shower washing out my hair going, my God, what have I done to my career? I've been all over the place for all these years. And I'd like to think that hopefully maybe it'll be the long span, the long game, right? To where maybe when I'm a lot older and there's a whole bunch of albums out, like it'll all make sense. And I try to think of it as like celebrating a lifetime of watching somebody develop, like I just kind of followed what excited me at the moment and I made those songs, I made that album, and that's what I did then. And I appreciate that for when that was. And then I turned into something else. But at the end of the day, though, man, I played a lot of those songs back to back and listened to it. And, I think the way the voice sounds is the common thread throughout a lot of it. It isn't like too different, and then it's also a different time. I remember even 20 years ago when In the Mouth of the Young came out, I would drive by a Del Taco and I know that they have a delicious cheeseburger at a taco place and everyone was buying SUVs, something it rides like a truck, but it's street. So everything was starting to mix a little bit more and people like mixtapes and things like that. It became more and more. I'd go to high schools and ask kids, what are you listening to? And this is back when they had CD Bibles, and they'd open it up and it would be Eminem, Marilyn Manson, Blink-182, and a mixed disc. And that's just on one half of a thing. So I was thinking like, man, I don't know if people really necessarily listen to music the way they did when I was a kid. And a lot of us were kids where there was the burnouts in school and there was the jocks and then there was the emo kids. I think it's a little bit more mixed up. And I'm so thankful that there is artists like like the Falling in Reverses, and you got your Post Malones and all these different people who are mixing country with rap and rock. And I look at it like as an opportunity that it's okay to kind of mix things up. In fact, sometimes I feel like people are so bored with entertainment and everything to where it would probably do well for your career if you gave them something completely out of the gate and you came out with, an outlaw country album, just with an acoustic and voice and like a harmonica and label it, Cyndi Lauper,
Right.
And it's like, what did she do? What did she just do? And all of a sudden people are going to talk about it. So I kind of feel like, throwing people for a curveball and surprising them spontaneously with a different sound could could be a good way to shake shit up a little bit, you know?
Absolutely, for sure. And like one of the more current songs that I have to ask you about because I just think it's so fun and I love it and listen to it on the regular is being a horror guy and being a vampy guy in particular, because that's just kind of my life. That's my alter ego that I do, not only with my Instagram handle, which the Metal Summoners see on the screen right there, but also the horror show that I do also is vampires are kind of my thing. So for my own, just a question for me. Talk a little bit about the song Vampires and like how it came about.
Okay, yeah. Dude, I mean, you know, that's a fun question that I will turn dark right away. But living in Hollywood, you know, I openly, you know, I was doing a lot of bad things and selling a lot of bad things and living a very crazy bad life. And you know, as much as it is vampires and kind of knowing the traditional fan base of Bullets, that those kind of bikers and stuff like vampires, da, 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 of course you got to know, you know, have your hand on the pulse of what people like, but at the same time it was more of just a great way to describe those chapters of living in Hollywood and going like, dude, it was insane, the life I was living, and it really wasn't pretty. And it's funny when you step back and clean yourself up a little bit, and you know, like I said, you'll be doing random stuff around the house and you'll remember just the way you would live, like sleeping on the rooftop and like, you know, hanging out in your car all through the night and making crazy, you know, you dude, I had a job for a while of finding people because I knew how to do it really well. So I would like track people down and sneak into places and find people for you, like and track cars, and it was crazy, dude. And it was all based off of bad drugs and alcohol decisions. And so the idea of vampires, I should have kept some of that to myself.
Oh, you're
The
good.
idea
That's a safe space.
the vampires thing was just, that's what we're living. We're living life, you know, we're living just like vampires. And it really literally is just hiding in the shadows constantly. And it's just, it's a really, it's a fun song, but it stemmed from, like, speaking of kind of a gross level of living, like a very low frequency, man, of expectation for your own self, you know, and that's not good. People always say, like, man, you've toured with a lot of bands, you've worked with a lot of cool people. What are they like? Do you still have relationships with a lot of them? And the truth is, I don't. And that the reason why is because if you're the jackass who's carrying on and, you know, drinking and doing bad things, most likely you're going to attract the other idiot in the other band. And most of those guys aren't in those bands anymore because, you know, they were the idiots also in those bands. So I didn't do well with making the great relationships with, like, the head guy of the band. It was always, hey, there's the straggling bass player. He's probably got drugs. Let's go hang out with him, you know.
For sure, dude.
Vampires.
Gene, if you don't, yeah, totally. If you don't mind, Gene, how long have you been sober now?
I don't know, man. I don't really, the time thing, I've done this, I've been sober off and on throughout my life. And as soon as I would start thinking about this daunting amount of time, I'd be like, oh, it's a weight on my back and the pressure. Could I ever have a drink again? Oh, heavens. But I think we're around 4 to 5 years, somewhere within there.
Nice.
I went to a, you know, rehab. I reached out to what's his name? Kevin Lyman, Warped Tour, you know, old buddy. And I was like, bro, it's bad. You know, I got to pull it together. And you know, usually you always think you're going to hear someone say, like, okay, well, let's just take it easy and let's talk next week. We'll get you involved. But he's like, all right, great. You ready to go tomorrow morning? And I was like, well, wait a minute. I still got a little bit of a bag left of fun stuff. Let me just, let me wean this down a little bit. And, you know, I don't know if I want to go right now. I'm just saying I probably should in the future.
No, brother, I definitely get you on that. Well, and you may or may not have precursed this next question, but I kind of had to ask you this also because the timing of your interview mixed with what me and my lady are doing on Monday night is kind of amusing. So we're going out to a show Monday night and going to see one of our very favorite bands called Wednesday 13. I'm an old Wednesday guy, like Maniac, Spider Trust, Frankenstein, Drag Queens, and Babes is she's a Murder Dolls and Wednesday 13 girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, his longtime guitar player for a while now is Jack Tankersley.
Yeah.
And I just, being that I am just such a fan of Wednesday for so long, fan of the band, and I've met Jack now on multiple occasions. And again, just like Clay, has always been a doll, has always treated me great.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch base a little bit on old B&O history, being that you guys were in the band together, and just what you remember about your time working with him.
Yeah, dude, we hit each other up like a couple times a week, you know, send each other silly stuff, you know, and
So he's one of the guys that you haven't lost contact with over the years.
no, I mean, we had, you know, like everybody, we've had our strange, you know, once again, you know, everybody has went down a dark road that separates you from, you know, so we've all been there. But as time goes on, I think there's a deeper appreciation. You know, we get older, parents get older, everything makes you realize how important people are. And, you know, in history, like the fact that I remember at the time, Brent, the bass player of Bullets and Octane, and myself, like basically put it together, and we looked through the Penny Saver or something like that, Orange County, whatever, right? And we found this dude, rockabilly guitar player guy, looking for a band. And you know, he showed up with his pompadour, and he had his Brian Setzer hollow body and his like Fender Deluxe, and you know, and he was just so quiet and just so calm. And I know he was nervous. We were new, we were nervous, and we started playing bigger shows, and we started playing with like Social Distortion and these bands, and we were like, we're not ready. We're not ready for that. And I remember being out Bullets and Octane and Gunfire 76, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And, you know, Jack is just such an easygoing, I mean, he's like the best guy to have in a band, right? He's not going to go, well, I don't know if you should do that. You know, he's just going to roll with the punches.
He's
And
so mellow.
I remember Wednesday asking me too, or I don't remember exactly when or how it went down, but he was like, yo, I don't know if you guys are going to keep doing stuff, but do you mind if I, you know, take Jack to do this thing? And I'm like, dude, please do. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. So go ahead. And he's been with Wednesday ever since. And I'm so happy for him, man, because, you know, we all kind of felt weird parting ways back then. And it's so nice when you see that he's found his niche, he's found his way. They're always touring, they're always working together. It's consistent, and he seems really happy. And, you know, that whole camp seems really tight, and I'm glad that he has that. And I think the other day, man, literally probably 2-3 days ago, the last thing Jack and I texted each other was, dude, I hope in the future we find something to work on together. And he's like, me too, man. And, you know, you just sometimes put that shit in the ether and you just kind of let it sit. And then these things always seem to full circle find their place. And who knows, man? I know Clay Davies we were talking about. He just spoke with Jack the other day as well. And, you know, we're always talking about working and recording something together. So it would be really neat. There's even possibilities, I think, of somewhere in 2026 of doing like a Bullets Wednesday possible thing. See, this is where you can't have me talking, boys. I got to shut this face. I got to shut it up. I can't be talking.
No, I
Too many
see.
secrets.
No, I get you, Gene. No, for sure. I was like that. Well, I didn't set this up to try to get you to speak on something. It was just one of those old school things of like, well, I'm talking to my mate right now who had this guy in his band who's in a band right now that I'm very like passionate about and stuff like that. So I have to connect the dots and sorry, not sorry for getting you to you may not spend, spill. But Angel, my friend, let me kick it back up to you. But also, that being said, they're Metal Summoners. Angel and I are going to spin around the table one more time because Gene, again, kept his, he's our bro, but he was really, really awesome in keeping his commitment with us. But we want to make sure that he's got enough time to get to his gig and get it all warmed up. So Angel and I are going to spin around the table, Metal Summoners, before we let Gene get on with his day and his evening. But of course, Gene, you know, we're always going to want to have you back, especially after the UK tour, my friend.
Let's do it, man. Thank you guys so much for having me and rock and roll, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Angel, anything final from yourself real quick, my friend?
Where can we find you on the socials?
Good call. Yeah, Bullets and Octane Official, Bullets and Octane Official. I also have Gene Lewis Music, I think is my other one. That's my personal one. That's Instagram stuff. That's across the board, you know, YouTube, TikTok and stuff. So if you just look up Bullets and Octane Official or Gene Lewis Music, that's me. You'll see my ridiculous outfits and costumes. Say what's up. Hit me up. Let's talk.
No, absolutely, my friend, for sure. And if there was one thing that you could say to the Metal Summoners or to any fans that are watching you right now who have not seen you or Bullets and Octane live, what would you say they're in for? And or what's the impression you would like to leave in them?
I'll just say this, man. I love to just get out there. I get out there. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to put the microphone in your face. You better know some of the words, and just expect to have a good time, man. That's all it is. And it's very involved. So if you're coming to the show, be prepared to be involved with the show. It's going to be great.
Sounds good, man. When I'm able to hook up with you at a B&O show, man, maybe you and me doing vampires or something might be in order.
All right. I like where this is going. Yeah,
no,
let's do it.
Absolutely, my friend. But for sure, Gene, I really, really appreciate you, bro. On behalf of myself and Angel, we appreciate you, man. I mean, your family, we love you to death, man. And anything you need, man, don't be shy. You've got my number, but you can also reach out to the show, man. Anything you need from us, man, never be a stranger.
Thank you so much. I got to be on stage in 20 minutes, boys.
Absolutely, for sure. We're going to let Gene go. Thank you guys so much, Metal Summoners. Please make sure that you're following Bullets and Octane and Gene Lewis on all of their socials and all of his socials as well. When it comes to Angel Alamo78 on Instagram, as well as his personal page on Facebook. For me, you can find me at salem.vampire on Instagram. I also have that page, that moniker on Facebook, as well as a personal page as well. And when it comes to the Metal Summit, please make sure that you're following us and subscribing to Facebook and YouTube. That's where you guys are watching Gene right now. That's where the interview take place, and all of our guest announcements and all of our announcements in general come out on Instagram first, so please make sure that you're following that as well. But again, on behalf of the Metal Summit, we really appreciate Gene Lewis's time and Bullets and Octane representing again back on the show, and we can't wait to have him back. We're going to cut him loose and let him rock out on the stage for his acoustic set tonight, and we will see you guys very soon. Over the weekend, we'll put out our guest announcement for the next episode. You guys take care. Be good. On behalf of myself, Angel, and Bullets and Octane, we appreciate you guys. Take care. We love you, and as always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.